Everyone. My name is Andrea Maria Anastasi, and today I'm bringing under exam the construction project I'm working on here to discuss at Project Manager for Professional for the final project presentation. I'm going to be discuss about my project with a brief presentation. I'm going to be discussing in regard to the waterfall and why it applies to the project I chose. I'm going to be showing the project charter. I'm going to be showing a couple of examples of the stakeholders power map. I'm going to be showing the project outline, project status report. I'm going to be showing how I manage the change request and discuss about the outcomes. The project that I'm bringing is a construction of a main axis of a much larger EPC project. It's a construction project. So we're going to go through, all permit acquisition, the preparation of management plans, procurement, survey works, vegetation removal, construction of the main roads, and landing of QC and QA documentation. Reason why I believe the waterfall methodology works very well in construction, and I created here a table where I directly compare the waterfall steps and the construction steps, it's because of its sequentiality. So it works very well with projects that have a certain linearity on a timeline like construction. Specifically, there are a few points here that are aligned very well, such as design with engineering design or build with the execution of the project, where we can see at this step the actual construction, the visual construction, test with testing, and the final phase, which is the final implementation and closeout of the project. It also works very well because of the predictable timeline. And so it makes it that the waterfall method allows for what it is an effective scheduling and resource allocation. And deliverables as well, as we have many areas in construction, but the outputs from each disciplines are very clear. So we're going to have clear documentation, completion of the works, which means it just means clarity for the involved stakeholders. Here's my project charter. The project charter is a high-level document that it's needed to communicate with the project sponsor of what the project is about and what it encompasses. And it's great when it's very useful down the line in case there are gray areas or misunderstanding, where you can go back and have a look what it says and make sure the whole team is on track. It also was developed considering the following: project description, project manager and sponsor, purpose, goal, scope of work, which is included here, the exclusion of the scope of work, which is what is out of the scope, the deliverables required for the project, the team, giving information about the risks, the structure of the milestone schedule here on the timeline, and it's signed by the project sponsor. For a privacy reason, I had to put an X, so I couldn't leave the signature. But I include a high definition file here within the PowerPoint, just because there was not much space for me to post the whole thing, but it's included here. And I also included a risk register where we have the risk ranked by likelihood and severity, mitigation strategies, owner, and status. At the moment, it's closed because the project has come to an end. Here, there is the stakeholder map. This can be prepared in many different ways. The way that I decided to portray it here is in regard to the frequency of contacts of the stakeholders and the power of influence on the x-axis. And this is a great tool to categorize the stakeholders based on their input and their influence. So what sort of engagements we need and how do we manage the stakeholders? And for example, here we can see that most of them are divided between keep informed and engage closely. And because of that, there is a strategy for communication. The field crew, which is what I rank as keep informed, is going to be, we're going to touch base with them weekly meetings, whereas the engage closely are going to be more like daily meetings because they represent the higher management. We have keep satisfied, which is the operation manager and the CEO, for example, where we're going to have monthly or even quarterly meeting. Minimal effort in the supplier in this case, where we're not going to really have meeting. We're going to just address over emails and over the phone communication whenever it's necessary. I touched another example here within the PowerPoint. There is another power map, which is detractor and supporters. It's just another way to really organize the stakeholders. There is a stakeholder register. This was done with the Monday.com template, ranked by impact level of involvement, stakeholder mapping, communication of frequency, stakeholder impact. It's related to the chart that I was showing before. It's directly linked. And also here I added a RACI matrix where I have listed the stakeholders that also have less input in the project. So responsible, accountable, consulted, informed with the status of the deliverable task and the task deadline. Moving forward to slide 7, we have the project outline. This is a snapshot from the monday.com template. It includes the schedule, it includes the task owner, the dependencies, so predecessor and successor. So if one is delayed, it's gonna be making shift in the whole project. An estimate on the budget, which is ETC, actual cost, estimate of actual cost, and variance, which is it's a calculated field from the monday.com template. So I'm gonna be opening this one so that it's clearly to see. So here I've included also the planned effort in hour, the comparison between each budget, and as I say, the variance is a calculated field. It also includes the owner here and the title of the project. I also added a Gantt chart with related to the project done with the monday.com template. Project status report, this was created considering how this would be affecting the triangle of project manager, which is scope, cost, time, quality in the middle. In our case, quality is great. Everything is green because the project is on track. We didn't have any major issue. I have included your notes where I discuss in regard to how things are, because this is what the project status report is for. We want to communicate clearly with the stakeholders on what is happening. So I put it, for example, all main milestones are okay. The project claim was submitted. The work stream, stakeholders, schedule, budget, resource, scope, quality, everything is on track. The key milestones are on track. I added the key achievement. I added the next steps, key risks, key issues. We highlights about the budget where we are including the variance and any provision in relation to the change report budget, the change request. Here, this is because there was a request by the team in relation to an upgrade, and we needed to buy more material. It's actually a tool with a certain amount of certain value. It's pretty expensive, so this was actually managed as a change request. And for that, I move to the next slide, where I'm going to be discussing how we manage the change request. Basically, whenever there is an input and a change is necessary, we're going to evaluate if this is going to bring value to the project. If that's the case, we're going to request to the person that is proposing the change to fill out the form where it's going to be, it's here on the right. It's a snapshot where the person requesting this is going to be writing down description of what it is, the reason for the change, specification, and additional information, and the price. What happened is then after we evaluate, as you say, we fill, then I review and I submit this to the higher leadership. And if it's approved, we are going to implement that one. So upon approval, we're going to log it in the change log. This is a template that I was using on Excel. And at the moment, it's still pending, and there's a comment that is urgent. And if it's implemented, it's going to be part of the scope, in fact. Last and final slide, in relation to the outcomes. It's about how a project finish. What is a practical completion doesn't necessarily, from contractual point of view, a practical completion doesn't necessarily align to the very few things that occur at the end of the project, which are part of the project itself. Here I have included closure activities and project outcomes. I didn't include the business values for this specific project. And as I said, here we have closure activities such as like post-review project and lesson learned, which is important for, harvest knowledge and bring it out to the next team so that we make sure, that we don't make the same mistakes in the future and we can grow from our mistakes. We're going to have end of project report, quality dossier and HSE reports, the final design package with the as-built drawings for the submittal to the client, installation warranty letters. We're going to take care and do the closeout of the financial report and release of security and ensure that all the stakeholders and the payment are released. Part of the closure activity, there's also the celebration part, because we have to make sure that the team vibe is up, which is very important because we're working with people and we don't have to forget about this. On the project outcomes, instead, I decided to include the project key performance indicator. They might be related to the HSE or quality or whatever applicable, and the realization of goals and deliverables. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I really enjoyed the course, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.